Hey, welcome to KU Sports Extra. I'm Benton Smith. I'm here with Bobby Nightingale Jr. We're in Tulsa, Oklahoma, site of the Midwest region and I guess the East region's here too. You know, it's weird. The NCAA tournament committee just puts random regions together to make sense for teams' travel plans.
Should be some fun games though.
Yeah, Kansas obviously is playing UC Davis on Friday night, and that's our focus. You got to spend a lot of time with the UC Davis guys in the locker room and talking to them a little bit today.
Yeah, it was cool to see, I don't know, a team happy to be here, kids happy to play college basketball. This is their dream. First time in school history UC Davis has ever made it to the tournament.
Right.
So, I mean, this is a trail setting season, and it was kind of cool just to see the pure joy on these kids' faces. I mean, they're just out there to have fun tomorrow. I don't think there's any realistic expectations on their side. You know, we're going to pound Kansas at this, but I mean, they're just there to have fun, and they kind of admitted the same thing too in interviews, and they talked about how cool it was to be interviewed, which I thought was funny, you know, and charter jets and that type of thing. So I mean, they just enjoyed the process, which I think was cool when you cover Kansas, who's so used to all this.
Totally different experience for those guys. They're not used to media after every single game asking them about all these details, and so I mean they really enjoy it, so that is a cool part of it. That's a good point. But I think also with these guys, they may not be like expecting to win, but they also, I feel like they're confident that they're gonna compete. You know,
Yeah,
they're not
that's
just
true. Yeah,
they're not just like, we're gonna get steamrolled, whatever, we're here, we're done, let's have fun. I think it's like let's have fun, let's make this more fun by trying to compete as well as we can.
And I wonder if that's a part, you know, they played in the first four, so they have a game under their belt. They kind of have the NCAA tournament, you know, we won a game, so this is kind of the icing on the cake type thing.
Yeah, I tried talking with a couple of players about the Jim Les factor. You know, 2006, Jim Les at Bradley. I know somebody who went to Bradley.
I remember.
Jim Les and Bradley knocked off Kansas. I think it was a 14 versus a 3, or was it a 4 versus a 13?
4 versus a 13, and they beat Pittsburgh right after, and then lost to Memphis.
The Sweet 16. Yeah.
Yep.
So Jim Les has beaten Bill Self in the NCAA tournament. So I asked a couple of players, you know, has Les referenced this? Has he brought it up? And both of them said no, he hasn't really. And I asked him, like, are you gonna just inspire him to? Are you gonna ask him? Tell us about it. How did you beat KU? And
right now,
I don't know if he's going to. You got to think he probably will. In the pregame, right?
You would think so. I mean, his personality reminds me a little bit of Self, kind of that type of coach, player's coach, but he can get on you. And he seems like a guy who would love to reminisce on old times, even though he's not at Bradley anymore. And what did you see from their practice, KU practice? Did you learn anything from those?
I feel like nothing can ever be learned from these, because they come out here and the fans get to see it, so that's cool for the fans, I'm sure. But I mean, it's not a real practice.
Right.
I mean, guys are just jogging around, they're going through the motions. They have a real practice behind closed doors where they really go over things and really kind of address tomorrow's game.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Totally different situation for them being out here 30 minutes in front of the fans, and you know, having half-court shots and impromptu dunk contest and that sort of thing. Real quickly, I did get a chance, as Matt Tate and Tom Keegan did as well, to talk to several KU players, and I think these guys are loose too, which is huge, because you know, the NCAA tournament, that time of year, guys get tight, that's when things start to go wrong. You know, you start to put pressure on yourself if you're not loose.
Right.
And I think you can tell that this team, and Self has been talking about this for weeks, wanted the team to play free and loose, and I think they are, and I think they're ready to finally be playing again. They haven't played in a week. It'll be 8 days by the time they actually play.
Had the rest. Devontae Graham said he had that ankle injury, and he had 2-3 days he needed to heal. And I think, you know, looking at the long term, I think they're kind of, you know, happy they had that rest. Obviously not happy they lost, but I think it does help, like you said, 8 days in between games to kind of makes you want to play more.
Yeah, they'll be fired up when 5:50 gets here on Friday night. It's going to be Kansas and UC Davis from the BOK Center in Tulsa, Oklahoma.